Well, hey, thanks for checking out my latest video, man. This this repeating melodic motif riff is so cool. It's just based right out of this major pentatonic shape. So it goes like this. Da 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 da. So yeah, man, it's almost all major pentatonic. And if we just think about a cage shape like this D chord right here, we want to mostly focus on this triad, this A-shaped D chord. Yeah, so this A-shaped D chord, you got your root right here, and this is a 5, 1, 3. That triad is so important. And when we do all this major pentatonic stuff around that, we're just basing it right off this. So we want to picture that and see how I just, like if I was playing the chord, you know, I hold it down like this, so I got my ring finger on those notes. But when I'm going to do a little major pentatonic soloing around it, I'm going to base it on my index finger. See how we're resolving down to that 1? So here's our melodic riff again. So that's just this major pentatonic. Now that is from the major chord, the major scale, I should say. So this is from the major scale. What's cool is doing a lot of major pentatonic stuff, which you can do all around this area. And then throwing in some major scale notes along with it. You know, not all of them, and you don't want to just play up and down the major scale, not at all. But some of them sound really good, and this one sounds really good. So we have 5, 1, 3. So when we do this, that's a 4. So it's like a suspended. But you can also think about it like as far as target notes. When you're on the 4 chord, that's going to sound really, really good. But these chords are going by really fast. You know, I mean, pretty fast. So it's like a D. It's all in D major, right? And it's just a 1, 4, 5 out of the D major scale. And so you have the A, G, back to the A. So it's 1, 5, 4, 5. That's it. But anyway, back to this. That's a very common thing that I do, probably too often, just in the major scale, even like with a cleaner tone than I have right now. I've got a bit of gain going on here with this, but I wanted to keep it because I wanted to sound like it did during my playthrough. You know, a lot of times people will clean it all up to show you how to play, so it's cleaner. But I want you to hear it the same way. So yeah. All right, so back to this. Here we go. That's the only note that's from the major scale versus major pentatonic. That's all major pentatonic. So we think about this D, kind of looking at the major pentatonic. That's pure major pentatonic. So is that. We want to think about these cage shapes, you know, like this being the A shape, which I really, you know, the A shape and the G shape. I mean, since we're mostly thinking about this triad, it's the same thing. You know what I mean? Because with the A shape, you have an extension of the chord down here, like that string and that string. Those notes And when you're, if we were to hold down this ridiculous G here, try to do a G shape, it would look like this. And it's still the same triad, you know. So it's good to know about these extensions, you know, below and above the triad, but it is the same triad. And the same thing when you talk about, you know, caged, you have the C and the D. That's a C-shaped D chord, right? Which is, but you know, there's just a regular D chord. And so it's almost the same exact thing as the A and the G. You know, you have with this D, you have this bass note. The D, the open D, is further down the neck from the triad, whereas when you do the C here, you've got these. If you think about it, they're actually in the same position as when you do the G shape. It's kind of weird, but anyway, it's actually really simple. So mostly, when I'm soloing around this stuff, it's mostly this shape, this the 5-1-3, and then on the D, actually I'm doing D up here. Sorry, the the D shape of the D chord up here. It's also obviously down here, and that's also 5-5-1-3, 5-1-3, 5-1-3. Same exact thing. It's only because of that B string that's, you know, adjusted by or down one note, tuned down one note, or half a step. That's the only reason that this shape is not the same shape as this shape. Really, that's all there is to it. So anyway, back to this. So we got the, and then I slide up to this. You don't have to slide up to it. So there's without sliding into it. Then we do slide down. And that's just so simple. We resolve on that D. That's the one, right? The root. And that's the root. So let's do this again. And then the next time I play it, I go like this. It sounds almost the same. And that is kind of getting more in the, like the playing off the major scale. Because if we were to say, this is, remember this 5-1-3, so we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or back to the 1, right? There's your D, same as this D. So back to the, so it's kind of like a lot of major pentatonic and then a few little D major scale notes to go with it to make it sound melodic. You know, you get more melodic sound by playing some of the major scale notes. So so we do that one time, right? And then we do this whole thing again. But then instead of going down, notice I go. So I'm kind of like, I'm giving the listener like, oh, we're going up now instead of down. And the reason this, if we just stay with a major scale, this is the 7, this is the D right here, right? That's the 7 note, that's the 6 note, that's the 5, right? 5-1-3, 5, 6, 7. So, but we do this 5 to the 6 to the 7, but instead of going here, I just go like this. Because I want to get back to this nice position where I start the riff from every time. And then we do this again, but instead of going down, we go up. And that's the 7, we're almost to the 1. Now we're at the 1. And we get to start the riff again, but in a higher register. And then it's the same lick. You're right. It's the exact same thing. It's just in a higher register, and the only reason that it's not the exact same positioning of all of the notes is because of the B string. You just remember that, and but just thinking about playing off that shape, and you're familiar with it, because this is the A shape. We all know it. This is a D shape. We all know it. Okay, so there we go. And then once we're up here, yeah, we're just repeating the same thing again. And then we do it again. Notice this time, instead of sliding up, I bend up. And then I do this. So that is really cool riff. It works so well with major and major pentatonic-y stuff, because what we're doing is, let's look at this again. We go 5, 1, 3. So this is the 1, right? It's the D. And so that if this is the 1, this is the 2. And we bend that thing up a whole step. This is the 1, this is the 2. We bend that 2 up to this 3. So, these are major chords being played, the D major, the G major, the A major. So even if it's just pure power chords, that 3, the major third is kind of implied in here because we're not playing any minor chords. So back to bending that 2 up to the 3, and then let's look up here. This is 5, 1, 3. So this is 4, this is 5. It's really important to know these little intervals, the distance between 1 and a whole step to 2, whole step to 3, half step to 4, right? Whole step to 5, whole step to 6, whole step to 7, and then a half step back up to the 1. There's only 2 that have a half step, 3 to 4, 7 to 8, or 7 to 1. So it's actually pretty easy. So 3, 4, 5. So when we bend this 2 note, the 2, up to that 3, and we hold this 5 down, then we're literally playing a 3 and a 5 out of the chord. So it would not sound good over the minor chord. So let's see how we do this. So we go. And then I decided, I think just on the fly, I thought, what if I... And I liked it, so I just kind of stuck with it. And then I did that. So this is actually really simple. So 5, 1, 3, right? So we did this. So we're doing, this is the 1, half step to the 7, whole step, 6, whole step 5, whole step 4, half step to the 3, and then I go. That's probably, out of this whole playthrough that I did, that's the fastest part. I went to a minor pentatonic as well. There might have been a little bit of fast licks, but they're not that fast. So there's a little bit of, I guess, legato. I'm gonna do. And there's a lot of pinch harmonics, And I'm not using a pick. You might have noticed. I just stopped using a pick for the most part a long time ago. And you can get some really good. I just use this this index finger nail as my pick. And so then I'm down here just kind of doing just whatever comes to mind, And so you notice one time I go down to the 7. This is just part of the major scale, right? It's not the major pentatonic, but the major scale. Sounds good. And you know what? I should have actually. Why don't we talk about the very intro? This is actually really simple. Notice, like we said, here's how you would normally hold down the that D chord like this if you're playing the whole chord. But when we're riffing around the triad, we hold it down with the index finger. But I came up with this little thing, this din 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 din. And so in order to be able to drop to the 7 like this, this is the positioning. I just move my finger, so I'm using my middle finger, you know, instead of this or this, I'm using my middle finger. And obviously a little palm muting. And then I just go up to this. So this is your 1, this is your 7, and this is your 2. And then down here, what is this? This is the 5, 5, 1, 3s. So I'm doing 5, 1. It's just those notes. And then I start. So I do the little intro, like I go through that 2 times, and then I start. So, right. Right, so I kind of went out of order there. But anyway, you got the intro, and then you've got the main riff. You know how we go down, and then we start going up, and work our way up here, and we did this. That kind of thing. So we did that, and okay, so here's the next thing that I do. It's like a and then I start again. Yeah, so that is this just sitting in major pentatonic, obviously, still here. Nice palm muting. It kind of just tones it down a little bit, you know, calms down a little bit, and then I do it some more. I think in the playthrough I hit some sour notes, or I hit some notes I didn't really want to, but it wasn't very clean. And then I repeat the same thing up here. And so if we look at this, that's major pentatonic, so is that. But we're about to go into minor pentatonic. So it's kind of an interesting way to, I guess, you know, mix up major and minor a little bit here. And it's pretty cool because you start out with the same theme that we did right down there, and still palm muting too. I think in the playthrough my timing was off a bit too. And then this. So these notes, you know, this. Let's talk about this shape. This is the E shape. This is the E shape. So we're about to do minor pentatonic, which is going to be these notes. But we start out in major pentatonic. Major pentatonic. And we're bending this guy up, which bends it up to the. So right here, in the minor pentatonic, this is the flat third. This is 1, 2, flat 3, and this is 5, 6, flat 7, right? So we're after we do, it's really cool. You bend this like just one fret up, and then now I'm in minor pentatonic. And the timing was in the playthrough. The timing was perfect because I hit right there when it starts to hit the D again, back to the 1 chord, and then I just went right back to the riff, the motif. I thought it was pretty cool. It's like this kind of burst of minor pentatonic, rock out, and then return. So yeah, so so I think I covered that pretty well. Now, but I want to point out I do hit this major third. I hit this major third like that. And so I'm hitting that major third a lot because we still are in major chords, so that is definitely the mixing of major and minor pentatonic, and I think it sounds really, really good here. So when I do this, that is just a real, I think it's a pretty standard blues, kind of a dissonant. So what are we doing here? We're just giving this note, which is the 6th, this flat third, giving them both at the same time, just a slight bend up. It's like a quarter bend. And then we go full minor pentatonic. And you notice how, so full bend, and then slight bend there, slight bend there. So that's it. So that is really the bulk of it, because then I just go back, after the minor pentatonic, we go back to the major, the primary riff, motif, and continue on for a little bit, and then I'm done, because it's just getting redundant after that. But it's pretty cool. So now from here, anyone who's still hanging on, and if you're really interested in caged shapes, this is something that for some reason, as long as I've been messing around with and learning caged shapes, I did not realize that they connect in the same order as they're called out. So C-A-G-E-D. And like I've pointed out before, I look at the A and the G as pretty much the same because it's the same triad. And I look at the C and the D as pretty much the same. But they connect, and that is actually kind of cool and can be helpful. So this is a D chord, but instead of this open D, we're going to play it cage style, or sorry, this is the C shape of a D chord. So this note right here is a 1, is the D, right, as the root. And so that is your C, and here's your A. So we go from spelling out caged C, and then A. So that is the root of that chord, one that we've been focusing on kind of here through this playthrough. So now you have C and A. And as I've mentioned, this triad is used by the A as well as the G. So let's hold down this terrible G. I hate this chord. I hate holding down this chord. But there it is. So, this barring here, really only taking care of 3 notes there, but I don't have any other way to do it except just put the whole finger down there. And you have to skip an entire fret and then hold these down. Very awkward. There's your G, right? So you have C and A and then this terrible G. So see how they're connected? These two were connected by this note, just the root, but this and this terrible one, G, are connected by the triad, only by the triad. And so let's see, that's a G, and then after G, we have E. And so how is that connected? Well, look, I'll just keep these down. So you know when you play an E shape that the low E and the high E are the root. So that is how the G shape is connected to the E shape. And then how is the E shape connected to the D shape? Because now we're at cage, right? And now we have a D. The only thing left is a D. And this is a D, like this is kind of hard to play too, because you'd have to play this triad here and then hold down this. Down here would be open D. Open D for the root. And so you're going to do the same thing all 12 frets up. But you need that one too. So yeah, so they are connected by basically only, I believe the right way to look at that, only by the root again. So it's funny, you know, the C shape and the A shape are only connected by the root, and the E shape and the D shape are only connected by that root. But anyway, so those are the connected shapes all the way up. C, A, G, E, D. And so that's just a little bonus for anyone that wanted to hang out and check that out. And that is the end of this lesson. So I hope you got a lot out of this. I hope you enjoyed it. I think playing through like this is just loads of fun. Playing over that backing track was so cool. Well, thanks for watching. See you next time.